There's an old saying that goes something like this. When you're 20 years old, you care about what people think of you. When you're 40 years old, you don't care what people think about you at all. Too bad for them. When you're 60 years old, you realize that nobody was ever thinking about you anyway. And let me tell you, that's a good place to get to. So if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I pretty much think the world has kind of gone off the deep end. But that doesn't mean we have to be miserable. Eventually the ship will right itself. It will right itself. But in the meantime, there's plenty we can do to keep our sanity. Your mileage may vary, but here are 9 things I do or do not do to keep my sanity. Number 1 of the 9 things. I do not watch or listen to mainstream media at all, ever. They're a bunch of clowns. And that means both sides. Flip a coin, baby, and what do you have? You got 2 sides of the same coin. Over and over and over. It doesn't matter if they look different. At the core, they are the same through and through. Go on, though. Keep on flipping it. Is it getting you anywhere? Are you happy? Because if you're not happy, you gotta ask yourself why you keep doing it. Don't secretly feed on their drama. Yes, it's a lot more fun to plot the world's end than it is to mow the lawn, but not at the price of your sanity. Find yourself some good alternative news sources out there. They exist, they do. You gotta look for them and use critical thinking, of course. And you gotta kiss a lot of frogs before you find the princess, but they are out there. And combining information from a few sources ought to give you a bigger and better picture of what's going on in our simulation. But that involves effort, of course. Number 2 of the 9 things I do to keep my sanity. I stay clear away from all the bizarre food fetishes out there. Oh my God, it's insane. Be a vegan, be a vegetarian, be a carnivore, be an omnivore, eat only fish, eat only raw foods, eat only cooked foods, eat only fruit, ditch all the fiber. We've got superfoods that are supercharged with antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, nutrient density, anti-inflammatories, carotenoids, medicinal qualities, polyphenolic compounds, catechins, amino acids, lutein, heart healthy fats, probiotics, insoluble fiber, monounsaturated fatty acids, flavonoids, etc. And they're all loaded with the best stuff ever. Like a cap gun ready to pop off and blow you straight to the moon, baby. It's a marketing scam. Stay the hell away from superfoods. I mean, if you happen to like the particular food, or you want to be a vegan or a carnivore, have at it. But don't go out of your way to get some bizarre foods, many of which are now available conveniently in brilliant colored powders. Well, yummy, yum, yum. Let's gobble some powder. Either that, or you can make a smoothie. That's right. Blend up the skin of that stupid pineapple. No one blends pineapple skin like you do, honey. And chia seeds? Really? Chia seeds? Wasn't there a thing not too long ago called a chia pet? It's like you put wet chia seeds on a clay figure and they grew into this weird green thing called the chia pet? Are you gonna eat that? For God's sake, eat regular, normal foods from every food group if you can, unless you've got an allergy or religious objection, whatever. The less processed, though, the better. Eat sensibly, don't stuff your face with sweets and junk food garbage, and you'll be just fine. Number 3 of the 9 things I do to keep my sanity. Clothing. By all means, please do wear it. But I ignore fashion trends and instead I wear what's comfortable. No, I'm not talking about walking around in your pajamas in a store out in public. I'm just talking about comfort. Dress for success if you want. Dress to fill a particular role if you want. Dress to send a message if you want. Uniforms and cultural apparel help to form a cohesive bond with others, but don't spend a fortune on something that's meant for one season before the next foolishness rolls out. I also don't wear stupid shoes. I wear smart shoes. Shoes that feel good. Shoes I take off at the end of the day and my feet are happy. And also, please, don't wear things that display half your body. Sometimes it's fun to have something left to the imagination, you know. Other times, it's nice to be considerate toward your fellow man and not expose him to a vision that will haunt him forever. Number 4 of the 9 things I do to keep my sanity. I do not buy expensive coffee. That doesn't mean I'll buy garbage, but I am not going to spend my hard-earned cash on drink gimmicks that make somebody else rich. You've got your regular coffee, lattes, espressos, cappuccinos, americanos, macchiatos, ristretto, mochas, affogatos, nitros, gomosas, frappes, cubanos, and on it goes. Oh my God. I have seen women standing in line with $75 plus manicures. Jeans with holes in them that they paid for, by the way. Designer high heels pinching their feet until they bleed. $500 hairdos. Standing in line there and waiting for a $10 or $15 cup of coffee. With a super fancy name, of course. I could buy a whole bag of beans or ground coffee for less than that and get at least a couple dozen cups of coffee out of it. Meanwhile, the lights are out in their apartment because they can't pay the electric bill. And if you say anything to them, they'll say something like, "I work hard and I deserve this." You certainly do, sweetie. And just wait till you find out what you gonna get. Number 5 of the 9 things I do to keep my sanity. I do not go to church, but I am deeply spiritual. And there's a big difference. I know sometimes churches have community centers and programs that actually do help people, and that's a good thing. But my goodness, the price one pays for it. Now, some of you may take exception to what I say, and perhaps you found something good. And if so, more power to you. But what I found is greedy pastors or priests who've always got their hands out for money. Women who think church is a fashion show for prostitutes. Men with self-righteous ideas about what the fashion show prostitutes ought to be doing while they indulge in the eye candy. Treatment from others depending upon the kind of car you drive, etc. But you know, I never did find God in a church. Number 6 of the 9 things I do to keep my sanity. I absolutely refuse to wait in long lines for anything at all, ever. I don't mind a 10-minute wait sometimes. And I get it that there are times when something unexpected comes up, an emergency, whatever. But I am not sitting in a doctor's office for an appointment I scheduled for a particular time and waiting for an hour or even 2 hours because that greedy prick overbooked. Because, heaven forbid, he should make $2 less that day. Oh, but what if it's an emergency? I get it. Like I said, unexpected things do come up. But I'm talking about businesses that make a regular thing out of having you sit or stand there for 2 hours waiting to get served. Let me tell you, there is nothing in the world worth standing in line for 2 hours at all. And that old supply and demand thing only goes so far with me. If there's a smug doctor listening right now, thinking how vital his services are and how important he is, may I remind you, sir, that when your toilet overflows at 3 o'clock in the morning, the plumber is the most valuable man on the planet. It's really not you after all, Doctor. It's the plumber. He's worth his weight in gold and then some. And having to wait 2 or 3 hours for your plumbing emergency is simply not acceptable, is it? Number 7 of the 9 things I do to keep my sanity. I do not suffer fools well. There was a time when I thought, if I put forth my ideas or arguments in a well-worded and reasonable format, surely we could come to some sort of agreement. Surely he would see. But nope. Not only do I not suffer fools well anymore, but I don't suffer them at all. And that goes most especially for the army of online trolls out there. Never, ever feed a troll. Never. If you give a troll just one word, just one morsel, he will demand more. He will complain about the morsel. He will belittle the morsel. He will ignore the morsel. He will claim abuse from the morsel, and he will whine and whine and whine. And always he will demand more with a haughty, self-righteous manner. Nope, I immediately, and I mean immediately, delete them with never one word spoken. Number 8 of the 9 things I do to keep my sanity. I drink milk. Yes, I do. I figure if they keep telling us not to do it, it's probably something we ought to be doing. Obviously, if you're lactose intolerant, you'll have to go for yogurt instead as your form of milk, but by all means do drink your milk. The more they tell me that milk causes broken bones, yes, some websites actually say that it causes broken bones, that it causes cancer, acne, high cholesterol, allergies, weight gain, heart disease, inflammation, environmental problems, and on and on. The more they tell me that stuff, the more milk I drink. That's right, I chug it. Because that's a load of crap. Milk curbs your appetite. It maintains healthy bone, teeth, and muscle. It's rich in vitamins, minerals, and protein. And it's reasonably cheap. You can show me all the studies you want and it won't change my mind. Because I have watched children for many, many years now with my own eyes. I have seen the health of many kids go downhill. We have severely obese children under the age of 10, an epidemic in childhood diabetes, an increase in child bone fractures, etc. And what changed? They replaced milk with sugary sodas and sweets. So drink your milk in whatever form your body tolerates. And last but not least, number 9 of the 9 things I do to keep my sanity. I limit screen time. Phones, computers, and TVs, anything with a screen. These items can be fun, entertaining, and informative. They can be helpful in staying organized, and in today's world, you really do need to engage in some sort of screen time, even if it's just to maintain business accounts. But beyond that, and a little bit of entertainment, I definitely limit screen time. Too much screen time is bad for your eyes. It's bad for privacy because you're always being tracked and watched. It's bad for your state of mind because of its hypnotic properties. It's bad for your self-esteem because of what social media does to people. The continual weak form of radiation is bad for your body. It's a massive time waster. A time waster extraordinaire. In addition, the screens are just loaded with idiots from the mainstream media, which we talked about before in rule number 1 of Sanity. Too much screen time causes depression, anxiety, fear, and loneliness. So, those are the 9 things I do to help keep my sanity. What do you do? I'd like to know. And when you're done telling me, go on outside and have some fun.